Hello. I don't even know what's supposed to mean a sandwich. Radio broadcaster, they don't need to see my face. Radio shouldn't have your face. Broadcaster radio shouldn't show his face. I want to speak about the things going on every day and people normally don't talk about. One of them being I was born in 1945, most of the things they told me about the meaning of everything was BS. So I like to break that down and redefine the meaning of everything I was taught in my life. Most of it's crap. Like sacrificing, removing my sin. That I have some kind of a genetic flaw and I need a blood sacrifice or God won't like me. Crap like that. Yeah, I like tearing into crap like that. How about you? Most of my life, I've had a misconception, missed my calling, blew it. I feel quite, what's worse than guilty, I wouldn't call it guilt. I was deceived. It's like a sucker, like something got stolen from you. The adventure living and the glee of it. The whole feeling and mindset of being in contribution and duty instead of freedom. I had my head stuffed right up my rear end by the philosophy fed into it. So I'm not feeling guilty. I feel worse. I'm a sucker. Tied my bike up at a bike rack at a grocery store that knows that bikes get stolen there and never told me, and I didn't have the brain. They should have cut the damn bike rack down. I went up there and got my priceless bike stolen. I'm so humiliated. I'm so dumb. Can't look in the mirror. Know what I mean? Lots of stuff like that. Thought I was free. Thought there was time. Went into employment and was told I was an idiot from the minute I walked in to the minute I retired, and they're still saying it behind my back, long after retirement. Kind of like they said I committed crimes against humanity, like they said George Bush, and neither one of us did. Yay, George Bush, face on Rushmore. That's nothing most people don't understand. I'd line every human up, and they'd walk up a plank, pick up a hammer and chisel, and a little peck on Rushmore. Move right along. Every human on the planet. I'd march you right across Rushmore. Move the scaffold up and down. I'd chip everything off Rushmore. Smooth mountain. Then I'd go back and line you up. You'd walk again. And you'd take your hammer and chisel and chip here and chip there. And we'd reform all the faces on Rushmore. George Bush Sr., George Bush Jr. Yeah. His family would be behind him. Then there'd be Mr. and Mrs. Clinton and Chelsea. Yeah. And let's see, who else? We put all kinds of faces and places on Rushmore. Wonderful people lived in my lifetime. I wouldn't have those, those dead ducks there. They didn't do much of anything, really, compared to these guys. These guys really stood their ground. These guys have. I mean, the hypocrisy has gotten worse here, hasn't it? Every day the living hypocrisy got worse and worse. So you wouldn't be in faces on Rushmore when they did it. That's nothing compared to faces now. These guys got guts. Facing all these hypocrites. Wow. The class of living is just stoop below stoop. You know what I mean? Well, bad guys used to fight with weapons in their pockets and on the sides and never draw the weapon out of honor for the battle. These guys know nothing about that. This is all sneaky-pedia. The sneaky has gotten sneakier and sneakier and sneakier. The systems of sneaky has gotten sneakier. Yay, George Bush! Stood and faced sneaky with gumption. Yay, George Bush!